And, talking about that team camaraderie a little bit, it's almost good that you do have those road games coming up, because even though that's a long drive to Iowa, just to have the guys be able to kind of catch up and sit with each other and talk hockey for those several hours you're on the bus must be nice.
Yeah, I mean, on the bus, they get pretty comfortable. Most of them are tuned into their own computer or their own, whatever they got going on their phone. But it's a good time to get away. They'll get to spend a little time in the hotel and spend that time. And then, we come home, we play next week quickly at home on Tuesday, but then we jump on the bus for our longest trip of the year out to Youngstown. So it'll be, we'll have some time together and I think it'll be great. I think the guys are, extremely excited to, be able to run into somebody again here soon.
And you have, like you mentioned, you have the 3 games in 7 days, 3 different opponents. And what have you been able to maybe take away from some of these opponents? Let's start with your opponent coming up next with Waterloo.
Well, Waterloo watching them this past weekend. They're a standard PK O'Hanley team. They're going to play extremely fast and pressure in every situation. And so it's the one time a year we play on an Olympic ice sheet. And so, which is, just different, parameters on how wide it is and a little bit longer. So it'll be a different experience going and playing against a team that, is going to play as wide open and as fast as they are. And so I think that'll be good prep for us, similar to when we play a Chicago team, but now just on a bigger ice sheet. And then we go play a Des Moines team that, didn't play last weekend. They're actually playing tonight. So we'll get a little bit of scouting on where they're at right now as a group. And like I said, we play the teams in the East so much this year. These are the only 2 teams from the West that we'll see all this season.
And going back to the Olympic sheet of ice, how do you kind of prepare for something like that? Because obviously, if that's the only Olympic size ice rink that you get to play on, are there other rinks in the area where you can maybe practice that a little bit? Or are you just kind of having to say, okay, we're going to play within this range? Just remember there's an extra X amount of feet to either side of you when we're by the boards here.
Yeah, there is the one Olympic ice sheet over at Cornerstone. We won't go over there this week. We'll kind of just talk about our principles. I think the Olympics sheet actually fits the way we like to play, as well as we transition and possess pucks in the O zone. So I'm excited to see our group on that. I think it's more without the puck, realizing that the dots are all still in the same spot. And that's that biggest thing we'll talk to our guys about is you look at a normal ice sheet that we play on every day here, and then you look at Waterloo, and those face-off dots are the same. So that's the area you really want to protect, when you don't have the puck, and make sure that you're not getting caught standing outside on walls. And that's where Waterloo will really expose you. They use their speed and they get through the middle of the ice so quick that if you are standing still, you're going to be on the bad side of some races. But like I said, offensively, I really like the fact and how our team should be prepared to play there.
And then finally, you mentioned you have the road trip out to Iowa this week. The next time that we'll be able to hear you on 104.1 WRLU will be on Tuesday, which will be when we do our interview next week. We usually post these on the Wednesday after. So let's talk a little bit about Dubuque as well. What do we know about the Fighting Saints?
I really like their decor. And, I know they haven't probably scored as easily as they'd like to, this time of the year so far, but they're going to defend very well. And, coming into our building, the first time we see them, I think it's important for us to try to set a statement. And, we're going to see them, I think it's 8 to 10 times this year. So we need to be prepared and, kind of make sure we're locked in and take advantage of that home ice.
And going back to the road trip a little bit and talking a little bit about the enthusiasm, you said at the top of the interview that you liked the enthusiasm that the players brought back, because it's been over a week since they were able to get back on the ice with everybody. The last road trip you had, you didn't like how they got off the bus. Do you think that this break that they had because of the COVID scare and the combination of coming off the ice, you think that will kind of counterbalance each other when they head to Iowa this weekend?
That's the one bad game we've had this year, Tim, was when we, got off that bus in Chicago and had a good 10 minutes, but didn't sustain that. And so it'll be a great test for us. We'll talk about it all week. We want to be the same team when we're on the road as when we're at home. So definitely that message is going to be, talked about in our room throughout the week. And will be a main point of emphasis when we get off that bus in Waterloo.